Hello, one, it's Red with RedDragonLeo.com. It is June the 2nd, 2015. Been a while since I've done a post. Sorry about that. I just kind of lost interest in posting all the time, gang. I just day trade every day. And whenever I see a move, I try to post it in the comment section and retweet it for everyone. But I just don't have the same drive to write these posts because I'm just busy day trading. I find it very difficult to actually swing trade and predict out more than one day. I mean, it's trying to predict a week out is very difficult. They just they tend to cheat, as we all know. They tend to negate any bearish setup you have, and any bullish setup you have normally works. But right now we're in this market where we are in a topping range, and nothing seems to work. It doesn't seem to want to go up, doesn't want to seem to go down, doesn't want to seem to go anywhere but sideways. So it's very tough to figure that one out. So what that leads me to believe is that we are in a distribution stage where the insiders are dumping this market, and they're just holding it up here as long as they can. I'm hoping we're going to get one more push higher before we actually roll over. I don't know if that's going to be the case or not. In the past, when we've looked at the past, we can see that generally speaking, they will push the market up one more time over the most recent highs. So in this case, this 2135 zone that we can see here on the weekly chart. This 2134.72. Okay, if they could get up over that maybe 30 points and clear out everybody that is short for all this particular time, then that would kind of make me happy. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. We might not. This might be it. This very well might be it. So, but we are certainly in a topping zone. We have been since the end of last year. We've just been pretty zone bound, as you can see, as the insiders are unloading and preparing for a big move down. You can see weakness everywhere. The RSI here is went down, and just barely above 50, as you can see. The MACDs here on the weekly chart also are just continuously dropping lower and lower and lower, and now in the 24, 25, 26 range right here. And you can clearly see the histogram bars on the weeks up are just very minute, very weak. Everything tells me that we should be coming to a point where we're going to have a nice correction down, possibly a crash. I just don't know what they're going to call it, if it's a correction or a crash, but I guess it all depends on how fast it moves. But certainly a big move down seems to be coming. Same thing here on the full stochastic. You can see it's rolling over again, pointing down. It's running out of steam. It's just the bottom line. And once this trend line of support breaks, that dates all the way back to 2011. Once that breaks, you gotta know that this market's going to take a nasty fall. It just is. You look at it on the monthly chart here, and some of the things that you'll notice right off the bat on the monthly chart is that we've had a bearish cross now for several months, and we have traded sideways here, broken this line of support on the RSI. We are trailing down on the rate of change, the ROC, and we are, again in a topping zone right here, looking like it wants to pull back a little bit. Again, I do not know how far. It just depends on whether we get a full-blown crash or just a correction. But you can look back at this, and you can see this zone, the 2011 sell-off that we had. This is called primary wave 2, according to a lot of Elliott wave people, with the bottom here at 666 in 2009 up to there. A lot of people call it primary wave 1, and then that primary wave 2, I'm sorry, right here, primary wave 2 right here. So it's basically A, B, C for primary wave 1, down for primary wave 2, and we've been in primary wave 3 ever since. So primary wave 4 that we're looking for could easily go down here to this support line right here, even pierce it. It could even pierce it and hit 1750 area. It could easily do that and still be valid to have a final primary wave 5 up into 2016, and which I do not think will make a new high. I think it will fail, and then a rollover, and that will cause a major crash in 2016. But you can clearly see the monthly MACDs down here at this time period in 2011. When they rolled over, they went negative, and we have already rolled over and are already negative, but the actual price has not fell yet. So it's just like they're doing everything they can to hold this thing up, and everything signals to me that we are close to a fall. There's also the 7 years between this, as we're going to talk about on this video from Lindsey Williams to the Shemitah. Many signs point to a stock market crash in the fall of 2015. Now, what I'm talking about here is Lindsey Williams is interviewed. He talks about his insider sources say to watch out for later this year for September, because they are talking about the crash of the banks. This is a 2-part video, so when you play the one video, you play the second one as well. Be sure to play the second one as well. Now, I will say that do understand that the elite do use Lindsey Williams to time messages. They give him messages that will benefit them. They tell him to tell everybody to go long gold when they know it's coming close to a top. Same thing with shorting the dollar. When they tell him that the dollar's going to die, he was saying that for 6 months. The dollar never did die, and in fact, after about 6 months of that nonsense, it rallied. It's been up huge since then, as we all know. So they are using him to get us sheep to go the opposite direction in the market. So by them telling him that there's going to be a banking collapse by September, you've got to know that September and October time period will very, very likely be a bottom in the stock market. That the biggest fall is going to happen before then, in the June, July, August time frame. And you're going to see a bottom into that time period. So we have to understand that the elite do use him to try to steal our money. And that the crash, if it's going to happen, or correction, is going to happen well before this September time period that he mentions as well. I think he mentions it about the Shemitah, but the Jewish 7-year calendar that they talk about. If he doesn't mention it, it's mentioned anyway by this fella. I looked at a lot of different videos. I like this guy the best. It's about a 30-minute video. I think he's a Christian preacher talking about the Jewish calendar and the Jubilee years and the 7 years. Without a doubt, he proves a lot of points in here. And if you look closely at his charts, you'll clearly see, and get your own charts out, you'll clearly see that when they talk about this 7-year time period, that generally the move happens and starts well before this, Shemitah time period actually comes up, which they talk about it pointing to September 13th, 2015. And Lindsey Williams talking about September as well. So this all tells you this is going to be a bottom zone. They're telling you it's going to collapse, but I'm telling you it's going to be a bottoming zone. Maybe not on September 13th, but I'm just saying we could very well see these wild swings up and down like we did back in 2011, where it actually bottomed on August 8th, the big move down, the crash wave. And then you had all this crazy up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, and trying to just drive you nuts as it was bottoming out for 2 months, and finally had a final 5th wave down to end it all at 1074. And then that ended it all. And then from there, it started this massive primary wave 3 up rally that we got going on right now. So, you want to be short well before then and into this July, August time period, because I think that's where you're going to catch your big wave 3. And your other wave that we're talking about here in the daily, well, this one doesn't go back far enough to 2011. Sorry, but anyway, in this time period right here on the weekly, this 1074, can't really see it there, but there was just a lot of chop up and down for several months from September to October before it bottomed in early October. But the biggest move down was clearly in August. Maybe I can pull over a chart for you so you can see that as well. Let me see here. So let's see. I'm going to pull this up for you, and we'll go back 5 years, and then you can see here was the bottom right here. Here is your July to August move on the weekly right here. Boom. I'm gonna zoom in on this in the daily for you so you understand. Okay, and we're gonna zoom in just in this time period, 2011, and you can clearly see we had a May high, May 2nd, and we went down and we went back up into July the 8th. And we went down some, back up in late July 22nd. After that, we fell off a cliff into an August low bottom here on August 9th is where it bottomed and how it's rally up. Then went up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And I remember that, and it was a nightmare to even think of trying to play. Then it finally bottomed in October the 4th. So this will be the time period that they'll tell you the world is ending, the September 13th Shemitah and Lindsey Williams crashed the banks. But understand the biggest move down is going to happen probably from late July to early to mid-August is my prediction. So let's move back. Let's look at this again. So I do want you to watch this. Take your time and watch this video. I went and looked up the solar eclipse. He points to actually 3 particular periods that we had a solar eclipse at the same time with the Shemitah, and it was much, much worse. And of course, one of those time periods was none other than 1929. I think the other one was 1987, I think, and then of course this year, 2015, that you had a total solar eclipse in that year, and we've already had it March 20th here. Let's see what else. One of the other things here, Legatus is also having a meeting on June the 15th through the 17th, which is 2 weeks away from now, from me doing this. And at the same time, the FOMC meeting is being held the 16th and 17th. Now, if you know, there's a lot of people out there, Mr. Topstep, and a lot of other people, that said numerous times that the Feds are, that this might be the meeting, might be the meeting where they mention that they're going to do a possible interest rate hike in September of this year. Now, we all know that if they say they're going to do one in September, but if they mention it in June, you know that it's always sell the news event. So you sell the news and you start tanking into the actual interest rate hike, and then when the interest rate hike actually happens, you actually get a rally from it. So people will actually panic ahead of the event. So that's possible, but I do not really expect them to mention it on the 17th, that Wednesday, at the actual meeting date. And I think they're going to trick us. I think they'll say nothing on that date, and then they'll have some interview with Janet Yellen one day later after the market's closed, or 2 days later, or one of the other Fed governors. And they'll just leak out the information that, yes, we are going to have an interest rate hike in September. And then, of course, the market's going to tank. That particular week that they're doing it, well, guess what else? It's triple witching, where all these options and futures on options and commodities and stock, all this stuff expires at the same time. I have to look it up and see which ones are actually expiring, but 3 of them are expiring out of, I think, a total of 4. You can have quad witching too, but triple witching, so it's supposed to be a volatile Friday. Now, on top of that, for those of you new to my site, don't know about Legatus. Legatus is a secret Catholic front where these elite reptilian shape-shifting Illuminati will meet, because that's what they are. They meet at this Catholic church, and it's an event. It's much like a Bilderberg, but it's more secretive. And they make decisions on how they're going to screw the sheep, how they're going to punish us. And I just find it odd that it's happening at the same time as a likely top in the market in June, as well as the FOMC meeting, and all of this is all happening at the same time. In the past, I did a study on this and found that about 70% of the time we did get turns in the market, either to the upside or the downside, from legatus meetings. So make no mistake about it, whenever they have a meeting, you do have to watch out that the market could turn, because they make very important decisions there that affect the stock market. So we got to expect that. And let's see. Also, there's a lot of news going on out there about Walmart closing all these stores. They claim, I don't know how many they've closed in 2014 and 2015, but they've closed a bunch of them across the country. And they basically are claiming that their 5 stores closed for plumbing problems, and yet they never even filed for a plumbing permit. And they have got military vehicles at them, and they blacked out the windows, and they hired police officers, not security guards, but police officers, to actually guard the place. And here's a lady who takes a camera in and tries to find out what's going on. Empty shelves everywhere, but yet there's still people there, which is very, very strange. It's like, what are they planning? Here's the one with the military vehicles. And you got to wonder, these are going to a Walmart store. Why are they going to a closed Walmart store? Okay. They call this Operation Jade Helm. And you can see there that somebody's taking this picture. And you can see where they're going. And right here. And the next shot, I think, shows there's the sign where it says Walmart. So you know that they are at a Walmart parking lot. And then you can see the fenced-in yard there. So something is going on. They are literally training and preparing, I believe, for a martial law type event. This is, I know we've seen this kind of stuff in the past. We truly have, where they try to get these things pushed upon us and do martial law and lock us on a Walmart or wherever, or the FEMA camps and all this. And so we know this kind of stuff is going on. But this, I just find the timing of this with the other evidence that I put out here to be very, 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 very strange. Very something to worry about. Also, fake prints. I still got this old one from. This old one is from a year ago, and it's one showing the NY8, which is the New York Stock Exchange Composite Index, showing at here it was at 10,329 when it was actually taken in 2014, and it shows a high of 11,334.65, a big fake print. Now, strangely, if we look at this on a chart to where we are today, obviously we're we will see that we are at 11,080, and this trend line right here just draws upward, and we hit right in this area. Let me zoom in on this. We've hit up in this area a high of 11,249 or 248.99, and over here 11,254. 11,254, and this is 11,334. Well, my calculations put that at roughly about 2170 to 2185 on the SPX, hinting that we could still go a little higher on the SPX before this thing matches up with it. I don't know when that's going to happen, but if it's going to happen, it should happen next 2 weeks. Then there's also this old fake print of the VIX. I find this very disturbing. I don't know if it's valid anymore. I'm sorry, it's a TVIX. And It was taken back in 2013. We've never seen it happen yet, but the TVIX then at that point was down in the 850 area, and you know TVIX now is like under $1. I think it's under $1, so it's really fell. And this shows basically 35.9599, so that's basically 36. And of course, 3 plus 6 in numerology is completion. 3 plus 6 is 9. And of course, you can see all the 9s here. 9, 9, 9. Throw them upside down. You got 666. Now, you know, I don't know. I'm just throwing this fake print. It's never hit. It could be real. It could not be. I mean, at the time it was 8.5, and the TVIX now. Let's look at the TVIX now. It is TVIX. It's like under $1, I believe. There it is. 90 cents. 90.2 cents. For it to go up to there, that looks like about, what is that right there? That is like, that's only $4.33. Well, let's just kind of zoom in here a little bit. You can see how it constantly falls. For it to go up to 36, I mean, that's talking back all the way back into June of 2013. I mean, that's a crazy move. Now, I don't, obviously this goes the opposite of the market, folks. So if the market goes down, the TVIX goes up, and big time up. Okay, I've already showed you the monthly chart here, but one of the things I did, you know, that I already pointed out for you basically was how the 2011 sell-off is already, it put the MACD's negative, and we've already got a negative MACD now, and we've yet to roll over, and we're up at a much higher point on the MACD's up here, up near 150, where we was only around 50 before. So that means the fall is just going to be that much larger. It's just going to be massive. And of course, there's 7 years from here to here to here, like 7 years. And we're in a Shemitah year. And that guy, the video this preacher fella talks about, this guy. He does a really good job. It's all technical information, and it dates all the way back to 1908, and it's been very accurate. There has been some type of move, some more severe than others, but there has been some type of move. And he explains it that it goes every 7 years and then every 49 years. And we're in the seventh year, which is 49 years. So that is something to worry about. So definitely watch that video. And then lastly, but leastly, I did want to go over, I'm going to have you do a little bit of homework here so you can figure it out yourself. As you know, the elite, the gangsters, the banksters, the Illuminati, the reptilians, whatever you want to call these pigs, they always tell you ahead of time what they're going to do. Now, back in September of 2001, we know that on the Matrix, the movie, most of you already know that there was on his passport September 11th, clearly stating that something was going to happen then. Of course, we know it was the Twin Towers being taken down with explosives. And then the same thing here with the Simpsons as well. You know, the 9 in the 2 Twin Towers. 9/11. You should already know all this stuff. Nothing new here, folks. And then there was also a movie called The Lone Gunman. The Lone Gunman. They had a plane hijacked. It was on a collision course for the Twin Towers. And these were the 3 guys that were the geeky guys from the X-Files. They had a spin-off show, and anyway, they managed to hack the computer and give the pilot back control and blah, 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 and everything was good. They survived. But that is something to be worried about. And what I want you to do here for your homework, I'm not going to tell you anything here other than another one of these has came out, giving us a clue. And I want you to think like the Matrix and go watch a movie called Lucy. And you will figure out what I think is the next day for something massive happening. I don't know what, whether it's a nuclear suitcase bomb going off, another Twin Towers event, another false flag, something. And it's in the movie Lucy. Think like the Matrix. Look hard, and you'll see the date. You'll figure it out. And it's not over the internet, so please don't go looking everywhere on the internet. I don't think that I found any incident yet of anyone that's caught this and put it all over the internet. It's pretty quiet, so just try to keep it that way, okay? And then finally, I think it's very interesting, this chart's from Mr. Topstep. It's interesting that the week after, June 15th and 17th, is a very, very bearish week. So when you look at this, you can clearly see we are here Tuesday the 2nd, and I think what we're going to have is some selling at some point. Maybe we go up first into Friday, and then we have some selling into next week. We have the Thursday, Friday low, according to the Pit Bull, a friend of Mr. Tops has been trading a long time, which is the week prior options expiration. Options expiration is right here. It's always the third Friday of every month, and it also happens to be a triple witching. It means 3 out of 4 3 out of 4 of the options will expire on that time period, whether they're futures or options on futures, or they're commodities, or whether they're stock options on the big indexes. They expire, and they call it triple. So it's very, very volatile. Here is the FOMC meeting on the 17th. As you can see, it's a 2-day meeting. Starts on the 16th and 17th, and then you can the Legatus meeting starts the 15th through the 17th. So, you know, they don't like to take the blame for anything on the FOMC meeting, but don't be surprised if it closes positive and then they release some information either on the 18th or the 19th, just a whisper that they're going to raise interest rates in September. And that'll cause, obviously, Thursday and Friday to tank. And you can already see that the week after this is a really, really horrible week. It clearly says week after triple witching, the Dow, which would be the S&P as well, down 22 of the last 25. Average loss 1.1%. And the worst loss was 10% back in 2008. S&P 8.6%. 1930 was the worst. Clearly, folks, if you're not short in this time period, I really think the top for the market, I think the top for the market is going to be in this time period before a big move down. And then after it goes down, it is possible that, of course, we will see some type of July 4th rally into the Independence Day holiday here in America. And then that might last for, I don't know, into July 4th. It'll last, obviously, into the second week, maybe. And then we should start going down. And I think by the third week of July, if history tells us anything, at that point, I think we're going to just fall off a cliff and just drop hard into most of August and early September. And if that Lucy movie, if you find it and already know what it is, if you find it, you'll know the date that I think something big and bad could happen in the false flag era. So anyway, that is it. And of course, I will be on the comment section of this post till I do another post for the next, I don't know, month or two, whatever, whenever I decide to do another post. I'll be in the comment section all the time. You can always reach me there. And I generally retweet it as well. I don't always put it on Facebook, but I do retweet it. So if you need to reach me, follow me on Twitter or follow me here on this post. That's it, gang. So stay safe, and thanks for listening to this very long video. See you guys.